Hi, my name is Michael Lachance. I'm an author and a comic. My YouTube channel, you're already on, Skipper Pete Books. Please subscribe and give me a thumbs up or a comment. My sister channel is Skipper Pete Travel, where I post all my travel videos. I will go to France in November for the Christmas market, so look forward to those on the sister channel. My website is www.skipperpete.com. Today's novel I'm doing a reading from is Rose's Treasure. It's available in, hang on, let me get that up there for you. Rose's Treasure is available in ebook, hardback, and paperback. Today's reading comes from the Florida Keys. For those of you who don't know, I was born and raised in Miami, lived in West Fort Lauderdale, and I know the Everglades like the back of my hand. I know a lot of things, having lived out there, rode horses through the Everglades, and the Florida Keys, I know like the back of my hand. My family had a home on the bay side, and then we had a home on the ocean side. If you've never been to the Florida Keys, rent a home, go down there, stay, go to John Pennekamp, and enjoy yourself. It's beautiful. The water's stunning, especially on the bay side. But if you're looking for adventure, hop over to the ocean side for fishing and diving the coral reef, either snorkeling or scuba diving. Anyway, on to the book. I am going to do a reading. The story is about Rose and her treasure. So let me get clear. The story takes place in 1982. So it's historical romance, kind of. Rose is arrested by the FBI. She's been skimming off the top of the Colombian drug cartel to millions of dollars. The FBI has her. They know part of the backstory, and they want her to turn on the cartel. The cartel, they want her dead, but first they want their money. So she's convinced this teenager who's on a little bit of a rehabilitation program to help her escape, to tell the truth in her side of the story. And this teenage boy, falls in love with her and believes it. So he's going to ride out like a knight in shining armor to rescue her from this women's penitentiary in Fort Lauderdale. And like all stories, it doesn't go quite as planned. So let me do this reading for you. I really hope that you take an opportunity to buy a copy of Rose's Treasure. Wonderful story, adventure, mystery, and there's nothing more powerful than a hurricane, even though there's characters in this book who think they are more powerful. So, romance involving the drug cartel, a young man, and an escapee. So I'm going to read from chapter 7, page 101, The Florida Keys. Carlos leaned to his side, noticed the nickel-plated gun, and shook his head. No, killing each other won't get at me what I want. He was a calm player who'd been in gunfights and done the despicable thing to other people, so it took more than these men with guns to rattle him. And what about the boy? Mac's brow dug down. Ripples formed on his forehead and his eyes pinched together. What boy? Carlos knew then that they were clueless, so he told Mac about a boy who killed Rose, and then Mac snapped out of it and answered, yes, some kid killed her. But Mac claimed their investigation showed it was an accident. The kid, Scott Waverly, rode at night often and was on one of the trails. He told him that the sheriff's office did another investigation and the kid was clean, and his story, his nighttime ride, was nothing out of the ordinary. Carlos wasn't surprised, but he never believed in a coincidence. He moved his thoughts about Scott to the back burner and focused on Mac. What do you have? Larry went to the truck, opened the door, and got an envelope. He checked his Colt, and it was cocked and locked and ready to fire. He walked back up, handed the envelope to Mac, who handed it to Carlos. She gave us this. Mac held up the envelope. Carlos took it in hand, opened it, and pulled out a picture with a note. What is it? She said it was directions to our payment. He stepped up. When we got there, she'd meet us and pay us. He held the picture up and moved it so that the parking light shined on the photo. It was a picture of an ocean buoy on a dock, and the words Conch Republic were painted at the top. It's Key West, Larry said. Sebastian, Carlos's wingman, had a briefcase, put it on the hood of the car, and opened it. Carlos waved them forward. My offer. Larry and Rick looked at Mac for the all clear, and Mac nodded. Mac and Rick walked up to the car, and Larry stayed by their pickup. Their eyes bulged, and their mouths watered at the cash stuffed into the briefcase. Okay. Mac didn't want to look overwhelmed or too surprised. You help us find what she took. He pulled a stack of banded $100 bills out, flicked through them to show them they were real, and tossed it to Mac. Grabbed another and tossed it to Larry, and grabbed a third and tossed it to Rick. $1 million divided by 3. He pointed at the band on the bill, and it was 10,000. Mac motioned for them to step away from Sebastian and Carlos. Back at their truck, Mac asked, It's 300,000. That's 33,000 each. I make $15.50 an hour before taxes and my wife. Rick thumbed through the bills. Jesus. Larry's eyes were bright and cheery. He's going to offer the 10,000 now and the rest after we help. And, Mac asked, It's the cartel. Larry turned and looked at Carlos. Maybe they'll honor the agreement between us and we can walk away after he gets whatever she took. Yes, Carlos nodded. Alejandro Rodriguez does not give his word through me and then double-cross. Larry turned back to his buddies. I'm good. Rick licked his damp lips. I'm in. Mac nodded, turned, and they walked back to Carlos. Is this to tempt us, or you're going to give us half? Americans, like the movies. Half now and half when I get what I want. Carlos laughed. Sebastian laughed too. No, you keep 10. He shut the briefcase. We put the money in a locker. You get the key when we get what we came for. He raised his hands, palms up, like he offered them something, but there was nothing in his palms. You get your money and goodbye. He tapped the case. It's no matter. You keep the 10. They hesitated and wanted half, but it was the cartel. Mac looked for the okay in their faces. He turned to Carlos, nodded, and gripped the cash. Gentlemen, this I say only once. Carlos turned to Sebastian to keep an eye on them and turned back to the men. Larry leaned on one leg and crossed his arm. Here it comes. Yes, Carlos' smile faded. He walked and stood inches from them. Alejandro will send men to kill you and your family if you try to play us. He stepped back. If not, and all good, you go and you live happy. We know, Larry spoke up. Carlos got in the car, put the window down, and flagged Mac over. Sebastian got the briefcase and got in. Take us to the boy. He put his window up and turned to Sebastian and stared at him in silence. Sebastian was not a stupid man, but he feared Alejandro. The men at the top tier were rewarded, but their families were tied to the cartel and they were encouraged to have children. If they ever betrayed the cartel, their family was at risk. He worried about the job because Alejandro was goal-oriented like a capitalist. But you weren't written up on paper if you didn't meet your goals. Minutes passed, and Mac honked his horn, pulled ahead of them to get Carlos to follow them south on State Road 27. Come on, Carlos didn't break his gaze. The Americans are not our only problem. Why? So that's my book, Rose's Treasure. Let's get it back up there. Available everywhere, hardback, ebook, and paperback. Short read, couple hundred pages, terrific story. Like I said, adventure. I've been in hurricanes before. I have been through the Everglades, the Florida Keys, and so everything I'm writing about is from my own personal experience. 1982, I'm an 80s child, so I got all the music to go with it. I hope you'll buy a copy and thank you for sitting through this reading. I wish you the best. Take care, Michael Lachance. Have a great day.